students, today we are going to discuss about respiration. Living organisms show different life processes to prove that they are living. For example, nutrition, for example, excretion, for example, reproduction. And one of those processes is respiration. That means it is the process which is exhibited by all the living organisms. Though the mechanisms may be different, but every organism to survive require energy, and that energy will be produced by this process. Do you remember? In the process of nutrition, our final product is glucose. This glucose is going to be broken down within the cells of our body to release energy. In all the living organisms, this glucose is going to be broken down and it will release energy. And that energy is utilized by all the reactions which occur in our body wherever it is required. Okay, so there can be different processes in which this glucose is broken down. Three possibilities are there which we are going to discuss. One is when we have abundant amount of oxygen. For example, in case of ourselves, in case of human beings, what is going to happen? This glucose is completely broken down. Completely broken down means the simplest molecules will be formed and a large amount of energy will be released. We are focusing on energy only. We require energy. Glucose, that is going to be exhaled in our, that is not required in our body. But this energy, this is utilized to perform all the reactions, to be alive. Now, this will be the first case when abundant amount of oxygen is there. Second scenario क्या होगा? What will be the second scenario? There is lack of oxygen or there is completely absence of oxygen. Now, in case of, let's discuss, in case of absence of oxygen, what is going to happen? This glucose is partially broken down. Partially broken down, that means energy is still trapped within those molecules. The product of this reaction will be ethanol will be formed along with release of carbon dioxide and energy. This is the very basic reaction which you are going to write if it is asked. Now, the final scenario will be when there is lack of oxygen gas. What is going to happen in that case? In this case, the third case it is, in this case, this glucose, the same glucose molecule, it will be broken down into lactic acid and energy will be released. Now, focus on this point, beta. The amount of energy when there is incomplete breakdown of glucose, the amount of energy is very low. But when there is complete breakdown of energy, the complete breakdown of glucose molecule, there is more amount of energy will be produced. Energy पे focus है सभी का. More energy is produced here. Less energy in case of absence of oxygen. Less energy in case of lack of oxygen. Now, focus on the products. Our reactant for this reaction is glucose. Glucose is not directly broken down into carbon dioxide, ethanol or lactic acid. There is a series of reactions. But what is important here is the primary step of breakdown of glucose, that is breakdown of glucose into pyruvate. Focus on this point, beta, very carefully. This is the basic reaction. Now we are going a little bit deeper. Glucose is broken down into pyruvate. Whatever is the cell, there is cytoplasm. Cytoplasm is must in the cells, then we have nucleus. Now this conversion of, or we can say breakdown of glucose into pyruvate takes place within the cytoplasm. Okay? Understood, beta? In all the living organisms, whether it is unicellular, multicellular, whatever is the level of the organism, it will occur within the cytoplasm. Now, glucose जो है हमारा, that is a 6 carbon compound and pyruvate is a 3 carbon compound. Up balancing of chemical reactions you have studied in your chemistry section. So this 3 carbon compound, look here beta, is completely broken down to give this carbon dioxide, which is a single carbon compound. It is carbon molecule. It is. Now when we talk about ethanol, it is a 2 carbon compound. Again, CO2 is a 1 carbon compound. Lactic acid is a 3 carbon compound. So when glucose, when this pyruvate is completely broken down into carbon dioxide, a lot of carbon dioxide is going to be produced within the cells. Okay? Now, अभी हमने डिस्कस किया कि ये था हमारा कहाँ पे हमारी reactions that is occurring in the cell. This conversion of breakdown of glucose into pyruvate takes place in the cytoplasm. But what next? Every reaction is not going to occur in the cytoplasm. This breakdown of pyruvate into carbon dioxide takes place within the mitochondria. In biology, this is the most famous meme, this is the most famous fact, statement, whatever you can call, that mitochondria is the powerhouse of the cell. This is the reason. The breakdown of this pyruvate to release energy takes place in mitochondria. That is why. Can you correlate it now? That is why it is called the powerhouse, because most of the energy is produced within this mitochondria. So next is this ethanol, conversion of pyruvate into ethanol and carbon dioxide. It will occur within the cytoplasm again. Okay? The complete process of this reaction takes place inside the cytoplasm, and again in the third case also it will take place within the cytoplasm. अब जो सबसे important चीज रहेगी, what will be the most important point of this reaction? That is examples, where it is going to, in which type of organism, which reaction is taking place. So first is our this reaction. Now there is presence of oxygen. Look around. What I am going to write? Aerobic. Aero means air. Or air में, when we are generally saying air, that means we are talking about oxygen. That means this reaction, which leads to complete breakdown of pyruvate, that is called aerobic reaction. So it's a basic question है बेटा ये हमारा. What is aerobic reaction? Second is this, where there is absence of oxygen. This reaction is called anaerobic reaction. Okay? Anaerobic reaction. Same as this. This is also anaerobic reaction. So last two cases are of anaerobic reaction. Now let's talk about another important point, that is in which type of organism these reactions are occurring. Okay. Lactic acid, ethanol and carbon dioxide are the main product. This lactic acid will be formed in the lack of oxygen during vigorous exercise, during fast exercise. When we do not cope up with the required amount of oxygen, there is lack of oxygen within the cells. कौन सी cells? Muscle cells. So the standard example of this anaerobic reaction, where lactic acid is the product, that is muscle cell. In this case, where ethanol will be formed, it will occur, can you guess in which type of cells? Lower organisms. For example, जो standard example हम NCERT में discuss करेंगे, that is yeast. yeast के अंदर हमारा कौन सा रहेगा? Which type of reaction? where ethanol will be produced. Okay? And the last one, in case of human beings, we are having this aerobic respiration. So this is all about the reactions of respiration. Thank you.